let's have a look at tonight's lesson. So far, you guys have done a little bit of algebra with Miss Kat, okay? And she's gone through quite a few different lessons with you guys. And we are now up to the stage where we are going to be checking our solutions using substitution. So she says, check the solutions using substitutions. If the solution is incorrect, provide the correct one. So the first sum there says x plus 5 is equal to 9, right? And on the side, in brackets, it says x is equal to 9. So it's really important that we understand the language that they're using here, right? They are asking us, okay, to use substitution. All right, they're asking us to use substitution. Now, a few of you might play sports, maybe you play netball or you play soccer or you've seen sports before, all right? When you substitute in a player in sport, what happens when you substitute in one player for another player? You take that player out and you put the new player back in, all right? So exactly the same as when we have sports, all right? We're going to be doing the exact same thing, all right? We're going to be substituting in a number, all right, for the letter. So whatever the letter was, we're going to take it out and we're going to put in the number. Now, the exact same thing is going to happen when we play sports is what's going to happen in our sum. Okay, whenever you see the letter, what's going to happen? Instead of just putting the number straight in there, okay, we're going to put some brackets around that number. Why are we going to put the brackets in there? It's kind of like we're shielding that little number. Okay, the exact same thing as when you substitute in sports, all right? You need to take that player. You're not just going to throw that substitute in. He's going to be in his own little bubble. So let's have a look at what it looks like. I'm going to have, instead of seeing the x, I'm going to see on my left hand side of my sum, okay? Instead of seeing an x, I'm going to see 4, close the brackets, plus 5. So this is the left hand side of my sum. Right, the left hand side of my sum, instead of seeing x, I'm seeing 4, and I'm saying 4 plus 5. So 4 plus 5, what will 4 plus 5 give me? It'll give me 9. On the right hand side also gives me 9. So it says here, if the solution is incorrect, provide the correct one. But in this time, the solution is correct. So we're happy, we're moving on. Next part of the sum, okay? The next part of the sum, B, right? I've got x squared on my left-hand side is equal to x, okay? What do they want me to substitute in? They're telling me, instead of seeing x, they want me to see 2 this time. So I'm going to put my left-hand side. On the left-hand side, instead of seeing x, I'm going to put a 2 in there, and I'm going to square it. 2 squared, what does it actually mean, 2 squared? It means 2 times 2, and 2 times 2 will give me 4. On the right-hand side, I've got 2, open brackets, and instead of seeing x, I'm going to put a 2. 2 times 2 will give me 4. Okay, so nice and easy. I see the left-hand side is equal to the right-hand side, so I'm all good. That one is all good. What I would suggest is maybe take a screenshot of what you've got on your screen at the moment, all right? And go and work on the next 2 by yourself, so C and D, right? While you're doing that, I'm just going to check if there's any questions very quickly. Okay, so if you have a question at this time, we've only done 2 sums, but if you do have a question while people are trying to do C and D, raise your hand. I will answer some questions for you. So if you do have any questions, please raise your hand at this point and I will answer any questions for you. We all seem good. Just one question in the chat. Where is Miss Cat? Miss, I see that from earlier on. Miss Cat will be back next week, everybody. Hopefully, she is having some technical difficulties this evening with her Wi-Fi. She will be back next week to teach you. I promise you, she hasn't left you. She will be back next week. Okay. All right. If there are no questions from anyone, then I am going to move on. Hopefully, you've had a little bit of time to do those two sums. Okay, hopefully you've had a little bit of time. Yes, Ms. Simone.
We have a message in the chat asking to please explain again.
Of course I'm going to explain again, no problem. So let's have a look at number C, and in C, we're going to go through it again. All right, so in C, we're going to go through it again. I'll explain it again with C and D, and then let's see if you will understand. I think that was Anati asking us. Thank you, Simone, for that. All right, so in C, what are we looking at? We've got two sides of the sum. We've got a left-hand side. I'm going to write it here. The left-hand side, and we've got a right-hand side. So we're going to start with our left-hand side first. So left-hand side. On my left-hand side, I've got 2. Instead of seeing the A, what am I doing? I am substituting, okay? Exactly the same as in sport, or if you've watched any kind of sport before, so we're going to substitute. Instead of seeing A, we're going to see brackets negative 13 plus 4. Everybody, the brackets are really, really important. Please make sure you're putting those brackets in, especially when now we've got a negative number. Okay, so you can go and put this in on your calculator. That's probably the easiest way to do it. Let's be honest. It's going to get us the most accurate answer. No shame in using a calculator. 2 times negative 13 gives me negative 26. Negative 26 plus 4 is going to give me negative 22. Okay. All right. On the other side, whoopsie daisy, screen's doing a bit of a weird thing over here. Okay. I'm going to have my RHS, which stands for my right-hand side. So on my right-hand side, I've got A minus 7. What did they tell me? They told me that instead of seeing A, I need to substitute in negative 13. So I'm going to say, open brackets, negative 13, close my brackets, minus 7. Negative 13 minus 7 gives me negative 20. So I know that that is definitely not right then. So for this sum, right, for this sum, I know that this can't be the right answer. A can't be equal to negative 13. All right, so the instruction said, go and substitute in to see if it was the right answer. Now that I know that it's not the right answer, we need to work out what the right answer actually is. That was part of the sum. So the sum says 2A plus 4 equals A minus 7. What's my goal here? My goal when I'm doing equations is to get all my letters on the one side and all my numbers on the other side. So I'm going to leave 2 where he is, 2A, and I'm going to bring this A across to the other side. When he comes across to the other side, what happens? He's going to become minus A. I'm going to leave this negative 7 where he is, and I'm going to take this 4 across to the other side. And when I take this 4 across to the other side, guys, it becomes negative 4. Then I'm going to go complete my sum. 2A minus A leaves me A. Negative 7 minus 4 will give me negative 11. So for my sum, I need to go say A is equal to negative 11. All right, I hope that that's the answer that you got. I hope that you saw that A couldn't be negative 13. So we saw that it wasn't negative 13. So we managed to go and find what A was equal to. Please make sure you take a screenshot of this if you can. All right, because I'm going to be taking it off. Okay, and I'm going to be doing the next sum. So take a quick screenshot or make sure you've written down the answer. let's have a look at D. So while we're waiting for people to take a screenshot, go have a try at D in the meantime, right? Go give D a try in the meantime. All right. I am going to be taking the answer for C off, and we're going to be moving on to D. Okay. So D, I see I've got x's squared here. I've got all sorts of things going on. So once again, I'm sticking with my same routine. I'm going to say here, this is the left-hand side. This is the right-hand side. And I'm going to go do my workings. So on the top here, I've got left-hand side. Okay, instead of seeing x, what am I substituting in now? I'm substituting in 9. So I'm going to say 3, open brackets. Instead of seeing x, I'm going to see 9 squared. Plus 9, open brackets, 9 minus 35. Okay. Once again, what would I suggest with you? Okay, I would really suggest that you take your calculator, and at this point, okay, please make sure that you do use your calculator, guys. Right? Using your calculator is going to help you a lot in that, right? Especially when you get to grade 9, because you're allowed to use your calculator. So we're going to put this into our calculator, okay? All right, and I'm going to get, let's see if I get the right answer. You guys are going to tell me. Oh, so you can write the right answer for me in the chat in the meantime. I'm just busy doing it on my calculator. Okay, let's see who got the right answer. Nice. So I have some really smart people in this class. Fantastic. Okay, I've got 289. Then I'm going to go do the right hand side of my sum done. This side, just because I'm running out of space, I've got open brackets, 9 squared minus 18 times by 9. So again, I'm going to go put it on my calculator. Okay. 9. All right, so let's see who gets the right answer. Nice, well done, guys. Got it before I even finished putting in the calculator. Negative 81. So I know for a fact that this cannot be the right answer. That's definitely not the right answer. So now I need to go and solve this. All right. I'm looking at the sum and I'm wondering whether we're going to be able to solve it, because I'm not sure whether we've done this yet in our classes, but we're going to go try anyway. Okay, it might be a little bit of a tricky one, but we're going to go give it a try. All right. I hope that you've taken a oh no, I won't take it off yet. I'll try to do it on the bottom here. So I've got 3x squared plus 9x minus 35 is equal to x squared minus 18x. So when we are doing equations and we see that we've got x squareds in our equation, the one thing we're going to want to do is we're going to take everything over to one side. So when you've got x squared in your equation, okay, we take everything over to one side. Ms. Simone, maybe you can help me here. Have you guys done equations yet with exponents in them?
Yes, we were actually covering that in our last lesson, so they should.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Ms. Simone. Okay, so I'm going to say 3x squared, and I'm going to bring this other x squared over, and he's going to become negative. Plus 9x, I'm going to bring this 18 over, and he's going to become positive. And there's no constants, so I've got 35 equals 0. Okay. So what am I left with? I've got 2x squared plus 27x minus 35 equals 0. And at this point, I'm actually going to stop here, grade 9s, because this has now become a grade 10 level question. Right, so it's not actually a question for grade 9s, this one. Actually a question for grade 10s. Okay, I will go back right at the end of the lesson and I will put the answer in there for you, for those of you who want me to go that step further. But for this question, you wouldn't need to go any further because for grade 9 level, this covers grade 10 work, not grade 9 work. All right, so it's very unlikely that you'll get a sum like this in grade 9. A sum that you would get in grade 9 is, okay, maybe if I have 2x squared there, can I divide everything by 2? No, I can't. So actually, it's not actually a question that we would get in grade 9. So I'm going to stop this question at this point. I'll go back to it later on if there's anyone who does want me to do the answer for it. But at this point, I'm going to stop this question. I'm going to go to the next one for you. All right. So my next sum that I've got there is E, F, and G. I'm going to give you a few minutes to try those ones. In the meantime, while you're trying those ones, I'm going to answer any questions that anybody might have. So if you have a question, please don't put it in the chat at the moment. Please raise your hand so that I can hear your voice and I can ask you and you can explain the question that you're looking for me. So if you have a question, please raise your hand and I am taking any questions that you might have now. While you are trying E, F, and G, is there anyone who might have a question? Okay. Novuyo, it should be asking you to unmute. What is your question?
Hello, ma'am.
Hi there. How can I help?
Ma'am, can you please re-explain number D, ma'am?
Number D. Okay, so Novuyo, first of all, what did we do for number D? First of all, we looked at the sum. Okay, so firstly, we went and said to ourselves for number D, we did left-hand side and right-hand side. Are you good up to there, Novuyo?
Yes, ma'am.
You with me, hey? So then we went
Yes,
and said, on our left-hand side, we've got 3 open brackets, 9 to the power of 2, plus 9 open brackets, 9 minus 35. Are you good to that point? You're okay with that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, cool. When you put that in your calculator, Nabuya, what do you get?
289.
Fantastic, 289. Then we went and did the right-hand side, okay? And on the right-hand side, we got 9 squared minus 18, whoopsie, times by 9. And what did you get on this side?
Negative 81.
Fantastic, negative 81. So you all good with where I got the numbers from? We went and we saw that we got the 9. They gave us the 9, so that's where the 9 came from. Wherever we saw an x, we went and substituted in with the 9, and so the x disappears and we see the 9 instead, okay? Okay, so the 9 comes from the brackets where it says x equals 9. Okay, so
Yes, ma'am.
then we go and say to ourselves, well, these two are not equal to each other. Do you agree?
Yes, ma'am.
So this is not going to work. So what do we need to do instead, Nabuyo? We need to go and work out the sum, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, but like I was saying earlier on, when we go and we try to work out that sum actually starts to become a grade 10 sum. So it gets you to the point of this. It gets you to the point of 2x squared plus 27x minus 35 equals 0. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, but this is what we call, this is grade 10 work. So you'll learn how to do these sums in grade 10. I promise you, in grade 10, they'll teach you how to do these sums. But at grade 9 level, we don't learn how to do these sums yet. I promise. Do you know how to do the sum?
No, ma'am.
No, okay, exactly. You could do the sum, you could go put it into brackets. You know you're going to have an x. You know you're going to have an x. You see there's a negative there. You know you're going to have a plus and a minus, okay? You know one of them is going to be a 2 and a what, but for grade 9, they'll never give you a question like that, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, are you good, Nabuyo?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you,
Okay,
ma'am.
wonderful. You're welcome. Okay, I'm going to answer one more question. Sabongo, it should be asking you to unmute. What's your question?
Hi, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Hi. Yes, I can hear you. What's up?
Ma'am, I wanted to ask for D.
Yeah.
Does it
Yeah.
always have to equal 0?
Does it always have to equal 0? So for D, when you're putting the sum in to go and try work it out, if you see an x squared in your sum, if you're trying to solve the equation and it's got x squared in it, then yes, you put everything on the one side so that you've got x squared on that one side, so it equals 0. Yes.
Is this question gonna ever pop up in a test or an exam?
So no, not for grade 9. In grade 10, yes. So a question like this for D, where it looks like the last answer there was 2x squared, what was it? Plus 27x minus 35 equals 0. That's definitely a grade 10 question. If your teacher's being really mean, or not going to be mean, okay, let me not say really mean. If your teacher wants to challenge you, then maybe, but I really, really, really doubt it because it's not grade 9 work. That's grade 10 work.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. No problem. Have a good evening.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. All right, guys. So we're going to move on. We're going to have a look at E. So I'm seeing that loads of people are telling me in the chat that E was correct. So well done. I'm going to go through it really quickly because most of you have done it. So for E, we had a left-hand side and a right-hand side. On the left-hand side, so on the left-hand side, I've got 7, open brackets, 3 over 2 plus 3, open brackets, 3 over 2 minus 5. I put that in my calculator and I get 0. Okay, so when I put that in my calculator, I get 0. On my right-hand side, what do I see my answer is equal to? I see my answer is already equal to 0. So I know that this one is correct. I don't need to go and solve anything. Right. Let's go try number F. Okay, so for F, I've got an exponent here. So on my left-hand side, I've got 5 to the power of 1 plus 2 minus 3. 1 plus 2 gives me 3, so I've got 5 to the power of 3 minus 3. And who can tell me in the chat, what's 5 to the power of 3 minus 3? What did you get on your calculator when you put this in, please? 5 to the power of 3 minus 3, what does it give you? Good. Okay, so I get 122. All right. On the right-hand side, I see that the answer is, let's see, Daisy. I see that the answer is 2. So I can definitely tell that the left-hand side is not equal to the right-hand side. So what does the sum want me to go do then? The sum wants me to go and solve. So let's go and solve this equation. I've got 5 to the power of x plus 2 minus 3 equals 2. I'm going to leave 5 to the power of x plus 2 on one side, and I'm going to take the minus 3 to the other side. So I'm going to have 2 plus 3. So now I'm going to have 5 to the power of x plus 2 is equal to 2 plus 3 gives me 5. What do we know that 5 is to the power of? If 5 is by himself, what's his exponent? His exponent is 1. Now I have the same base. What can I do? Drop the bases. So I'm going to be left with x plus 2 equals 1. I'm going to take the 2 to the other side. 1 minus 2. So x is going to equal negative 1. Okay, apologies. Our screen is doing a few weird things over here. All right. So hopefully you will have a lot more practice with those kind of sums at school, and you'll have a lot more practice when you guys go to the workshop as well. But that is how we do one of those sums. Okay, so hopefully we've taken a screenshot. Let's have a look at G, the last sum, and then we're going to have a bit of a brain break. So G, if I'm looking at G, Again, I've got a fraction. So on my left-hand side, I've got 4, open brackets, 14 over 19 minus 7 plus 6, 2 minus 3, 14 over 19, close bracket, equals. Okay, what do you get when you do that sum, guys? What do you get on your calculator? All right, what do you get on your calculator when you do that sum? You can tell me in the chat. What do you get in your calculator when you do that sum? All right, negative 500 over 19. Right, on my right-hand side, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to have 5, open brackets, 14 over 19, minus 6. Oh my goodness, the screen is doing some strange things on this cat's notebook here. Right, what happens on the right-hand side when you put that sum in your calculator? So I've got 5, open brackets, 14 over 19 minus 6. Give me the answer in the chat, please. What do we get? Does everybody get negative 500 over 19? Negative 500 over 19. So we know that that answer is correct. All right, I'm going to make the screen a little bit smaller so that you can take those last two and you can screenshot them in the meantime. And we are going to move down to our brain break for this evening. And while you are doing the brain break, I will take any questions that anyone might have. So make sure that you've taken a screenshot. Okay. And let us move down to our brain break for this evening. Okay, so there is your first brain break. If anyone has a question about the work that we've just done, please can you raise your hand and I will answer any questions you may have while you're having a look at that brain break question. Anybody who has a question? We all good. Well done, guys. Paying such good attention this evening. Okay. Right. Zwavudi, should be asking you to unmute your screen. How can I help?
Ma'am, I didn't quite catch number D. Can you please repeat it for me?
Okay, so Swavudi, number D, I did go through it again. So what I would suggest for number D, when we were trying to solve it, I got to the point where I said to you guys, it's actually a grade 10 question, number D, because we saw that the two sides weren't equal. And when we tried to do the equation, it actually turned into a grade 10 equation. So
Yes.
if you're not sure, if you're 100% not sure on how to do it and you're really still confused after I explained it again, what I would suggest is go back and watch the video from tonight. So tomorrow the video will be online and watch the video from tonight, okay?
Yes.
Okay,
So,
thanks for Woody. Yeah.
Okay, so that question wouldn't appear on an exam paper or test paper because it's
No,
from
it won't.
grade 10.
That's right, yes.
Okay.
Okay, no problem. Thanks, Ovidi.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, so I am not seeing, oh, I do have some more questions. Dwayne, oh, no. Sorry, Simone, I clicked on you instead of Dwayne because he disappeared. All right, so it looks like I don't have any other questions there. So let's have a look at the brain break. So for this question, okay, for the first one, the answer is going to be C. So for those of you who said C, well done. There has to be a difference of 2 between the dots and they count in zigzags going up. So let's go see what that means. So if we use our highlighter, okay, I've got 1, 2, 3. So in this one, I'd need to have the number 4. And then if we go the other way, I've got 2, 3, 4, 5. So this one would need to be the number 6. And so which one is that going to be? That one is going to be C. Well done to those of you who got C. Congratulations, you got the right answer. Right, what is the next shape in the pattern? Have a look at those patterns for me. I'm going to give you 1 minute. I'm going to give you 1 minute. Have a look at those patterns for me. Okay, and decide which one is it going to be. Is it going to be A? Is it going to be B? Or is it going to be C? Right, please only put your answer once in the chat. You do not need to spam the chats. Okay. All right, let's have a look. So what do they have in common? Well, this shape has one side. This shape has two. This shape has three sides. This shape has four sides. So the answer is going to be the shape that has 5 sides, and that is going to be shape number C again. Well done. And finally, which one digit number, replaces A in this puzzle? Which one-digit number replaces A in this puzzle? Have a look at that puzzle and decide which number is going to replace A. Go and see if you have a pattern there that you're seeing. Go see if you have a pattern that you are seeing, everybody. Right, I'm seeing one person who's got the right answer so far. Okay, so I've seen 1 right answer so far. I've seen 2 right answers so far. 3 right answers, 4, 5. Okay, so your answer is going to be 5. So if we look at all these sums, what's the difference here? All right, we've got 20 minus 8 gives me 12. 15 minus 3 gives me 12. 19 minus 7 gives me 12. 12, 12, 12. So what number? 17 minus 12 will give me 5. All right, so those are our brain break questions for this evening. Okay, I hope that you got some of those correct, right? I hope that you enjoyed those brain breaks. We are going to move on to our last section for tonight. I do see that someone's got their hand up, and I will answer that question. I promise you that I will. I want to move on to the last section, and then I will answer any questions that anybody may have towards the end. In this last section, everyone, we are looking now at doing substitution and putting our answers in an actual table. Okay, so for the first sum, it says the sum that they've given you, right, is y is equal to x squared minus 5x minus 7. So again, I would use my calculator here, all right? The calculator is going to be very, very useful for the sum, right? I'm going to do my workings up on the side for you so that you can see what I can see, right? But I want you guys to practice using your calculator for these sums. So for the sum, I'm going to use my equation again. So I've got y is equal to x squared minus 5x minus 7. The first number that they've told me to substitute in here is they've said to me, my first substitution number is going to be negative 2. So my first substitution that they want me to put in is negative 2. So instead of seeing an x, what do they want me to see instead? They want me to see a negative 2. So I'm going to say, this is my first sum, so number 1. Y is equal to, instead of seeing an x, I'm going to see negative 2 squared minus 5 times negative 2 minus 7. Right. Stick that into your calculator, see what it gives you. Right, stick it into your calculator, let's see what it gives you. So I know negative 2 squared gives me 4, negative 5 plus negative 2 gives me 10, 4 plus 10 is 14, minus 7, and I see some people are writing in the chat, fantastic, y is equal to 7. Okay, we're going to go do the exact same sum all over again. Unfortunately, I don't have much room here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go substitute it in here, and I'm going to say, instead of seeing negative 2 this time, I'm going to see negative 1. Right, on my calculator, negative 1 squared is 1, negative 5 times negative 1 is 5, so 1 plus 5 is 6, and 6 minus 7 will give me negative 1. So here I'm going to have negative 1. Right, moving along. My next sum that they've given me, or my next substitution they gave me, was 0. So I'm going to go put in a 0 instead of seeing my x this time. Right, once again, you're going to go put it into your calculator. 0 squared gives me 0. Negative 5 times 0 is 0. And minus 7 will give me minus 7. So negative 7. Right. You guys should be miles ahead of me because you're doing it on your calculator. So now I'm going to see 1. 1 squared is 1. 1 minus 5 is negative 4. And negative 4 minus 7 is negative 11. Right. Who can give me my one for my next one? I'm going to substitute in now with a 2. So that's what we will put on our calculator. Fantastic, guys. We would put that in our calculator. We would get negative 13. And the last one they've got us to do there is they've given us 10. So we're going to go put in a 10. Right. So on your calculators, you're going to go put that in and we get 43. Right. Seems like our pen is suffering from the Tuesdays. Okay. If we wanted to then go and do ordered case from that, we could, but that's not what we're doing in this lesson. In this lesson, we're just doing substitution. They asked us to complete the table. That's how we would complete the table. I'm going to bring the next table up for you guys to do. All I'm wanting you to do is to complete the y's for me. In the meantime, I'm going to answer a question, and then I'm going to complete that table with you. So I've got Moha. Moha, how can I help you? Should be asking you to unmute.
Hello.
Hello, how can I help
Could you
you?
please help me with an assignment?
I'm so sorry. You're gonna have to just say it again. You went your
With
connection lost.
mathematics,
Say it one
I
last
would
time
like
for
to
us.
be helped with an mathematics assignment. I would
With a
like to be helped with an yes.
With a mathematics
Yes.
question. Okay, what is your question?
Assignment, yes.
Your mathematics assignment. So unfortunately not. I can help
but-
you with the question that we're doing today.
Okay, it says
Okay.
here.
Okay. Simone, okay. Mohat, I'm going to ask you to put your question in the chat. Unfortunately, we can't assist you with homework, but you can put your question in the chat and we will see if we can assist you with that. Right, Tandor, what is your question based on today's lesson?
Hello, ma'am.
Hi, how can I help?
So, ma'am, on the first question that we did, I see that the answer on Y is 7 for the very first one. But then when I calculated, it gives me 1. So I wanted to understand why is it 7?
Okay, let's go have a look. So I might have got it wrong. Let's go check. So I've got y is equal to, I open up my brackets, negative 2 squared minus 5 times negative 2 minus 7. So did you put that into your calculator?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Okay, so let's go check. So negative 2 squared. Apologies.
Yes, ma'am.
Negative 2 squared gives me 4. Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
yes, ma'am.
4 plus negative 5 times by negative 2 gives me 10. Do you agree with that?
Ma'am, hold on, ma'am.
Negative times a negative. What does a negative times a negative give you, Tando?
A positive.
A positive. And 5 times 2 will give you
10.
10.
I think
Okay.
I
Okay.
think I didn't put it correctly on my calculator.
Maybe. No problem,
ma'am.
Tando. Okay. Right. Sorry. Let us finish this table. So in my table, I've got my very first question was -2. So who can give me the answer? When x is -2, what is y going to be? When x is -2, what is y going to be, everybody? When x is -2, y is going to be 21. Fantastic. Right. When x is -1, when x is -1, what is y going to be? We're going to put it into our calculator and we're going to get 5. Fantastic. When x is 0, y will be -7. Y will be -7. For 1, when x is 1, what will y be, everybody? When x is equal to 1, what will y be? When x is equal to 1, y will be -15. Third, when x is equal to 2, what will y be when x is equal to -2? Or when x is equal to 2, apologies. When x is equal to 2, what do you get as y? I'm seeing people telling me -19. And finally, when x is equal to 10, what will y be? So when x is equal to 10, what do you get as your y? You get 93. So for the last part of today's lesson, I'm going to show you how to do the ordered pairs, which is in your last row here. So they've asked me to say x semicolon y. So for the first one, x was -2, semicolon, y was 21. For the next one, x was -1, y was 5, x was 0, y was -7, x was 1, y was -15, x was 2, y was -19, x was 10, and y was 93. Right, so make sure you've taken a screenshot of the answers. Make sure you've got the completed table over there. We didn't get to do the last table, unfortunately, in tonight's lesson, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll up. I'm going to let you take a screenshot of that table so that you can go away and you can practice that. And hopefully Ms. Kat will be able to do it with you in the next lesson. So I'm going to scroll up for you guys. Make sure you've taken a screenshot. Practice that one for homework. You don't often get Watobe homework, so practice that one. Get the answers, and then you can make Ms. Kat proud when you guys get the answers for the next lesson.